Greetings from Seoul, Korea, and welcome to WCS Korea Season 2 with Tasteless and Artosis. How you doing today, man?
Tasteless. Today, Flash and Innovation play a best of three that matters, that they both want to win. Today is a wonderful day.
It is a wonderful day. If you joined us last week, that was day 1 of the round of 16. We saw Sulky, Bomber, Burst, and Supernova do very well. Now, they're not out of this round of the tournament yet.
No, and the other players that lost are not out yet either. Everyone still has a shot except for maybe Byung because Flash and Innovation are his group, Tasteless.
That is very true. We won't know who's out of these groups until day 3 here of the round of 16. Just so you know, this is not under the same format that we normally do at GSL Codes. We do a best of 3 with each group that we have, A through D here. And then we go to the next week and do the next match. So it's been pretty fun. And of course, round of 32 was actually a best of 1. Yeah. So a very unforgiving situation.
That's right. And as you saw, the quick little shot, it's packed in here.
It's packed
at least
in here
for this season and the way that things are being done.
If you guys are joining us and haven't been following this tournament the entire time, this is a piggybacked broadcast. The players are in fact in the on-GameNet studio. So the camera shots we have here, the in-game observing, and our casting are here from GOM. The rest of this, we're kind of along for the ride here.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for showing up to the studio today. Yeah. Sorry there's no pro gamers here, but we'll try to make this as fun as possible for you. And it should be pretty easy considering the players that we got playing today.
Oh, yeah, I think so. These are some fantastic matches. I guess not last week, but 2 days ago was absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And today I think will be even better because our TVT is just bonkers good.
It's so good, man. Okay, let's just cut right to the chase. Who do you think wins here between Flash and Innovation? Because I'm going to say Innovation again.
I'm saying Flash.
Really?
Yeah, it's time for Flash to just start winning everything, I think.
That would be cool.
Yeah, he's really, really good. He almost took out Innovation last season, if anyone recalls. He kept Hellbat dropping. He was so stuck on it. And
Innovation won one of those games with a rush, right? That was like game number 2?
He went just 2 racks Reaper and just killed him with it.
Yeah, killed him like within under 4 minutes. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously a win is a win, but I'm curious to see how much standard play we're going to have here versus how much aggression, cheese, all-in, stuff like that.
It's really hard to say, and Flash is completely aware that Innovation is better than him right now. He has shown better results at the minimum. So I would think he's a little bit hungry to beat this kid.
I would think so. Now, we have some new maps we're doing here today, so that's going to be interesting as well. Already loved, and I'm going to bungle the map name. How do we say this?
Gwangeli.
Gwangeli Beach, which is actually a map.
Imagine you just got into Busan Station and we're going there, so you have to tell the cab driver.
We actually have a map here that is based off a location in Korea. It's really cool that we're doing this new stuff with maps. So Gwangeli Beach, which we've actually been to an esports event at that beach.
Been there a few times, actually.
The map's tailored off that, so it's really
beautiful
cool to see.
Beach.
It is an absolutely...
It's got a bridge going across.
It's also a very crowded beach. If you've ever been to a beach out in
I don't remember all those minerals in the water, but maybe I didn't go deep enough.
They must have all been mined by the time we got there. So that game was... That was in the Supreme Endgame when we've been visited.
That was the end of summer.
So, we got a bunch of great games today here. Please tell your friends to tune in to us here at GOMTV.net. A lot of people don't know, since this is the first time we're really doing something like this.
Yeah.
We're covering an event that is being held somewhere else in Seoul. So it's like half this event is taking place from what you're seeing here in our studio, and then obviously the player shots and the games themselves taking place down there in Yongsan.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. But... always fun to try some new things, Tasteless.
Oh, yeah.
And one of those new things is this format where we have 4 groups in the round of 16, but we're just showing one best of 3 from each day.
Well, one advantage, especially if you're a pro gamer coming into this today, in this tournament, you at least get 1 week to prepare for every single match that you're going to do.
Yeah.
Instead of having to prepare for potentially, 3 different opponents, maybe even 3 different matchups. Let's say TVT, TVZ, TVP. The settings are a little bit different. So this is going to be one of these tournaments where the games that we are casting here, the builds will have been mapped out to the T.
Yes, and that makes it pretty interesting as well because it's not as much about stability, it's about power a lot of the time. And that's really exciting me, especially for the first set taste, Sue against Parting. Because when Parting comes with power, oh my God, that's a build order.
Well, this guy knows how to prepare. I know we have a lot of new viewers here who might have just started watching us after the StarCraft expansion set Heart of the Swarm was released. But if you did not follow any of us in Wings of Liberty, Parting was the world champion last year. He's the player, one of the two players we'll be casting here first today. And, by the end of, the WCS last year, this guy had build orders that were just so perfectly mapped out, it was becoming questionable if they were really beatable if he executed them right.
No, his build orders are like ridiculous cases. We'll talk more about that when we get into there, but the Challenger League, of course, guys, is starting up as it should after that round of 32 is done, and as you can see, the infamous Pig Baby is going to be playing against Ragnarok. Gumiho against Terminator. That one should be actually really quite nice. Beyond against Deer, and Marine King against Mamuri.
Could Pig Baby be the baby of the Australian pro gamer Pig? Could that be the case?
Well, I think Pig would have rejected him and sent him to Korea. That would make sense because he is a Protoss.
That makes a lot of sense, yes.
If
some players that
that's
we
the baby of Pig, then who's the mother?
I really like that ID, Pig Baby.
Yeah, that's
I really like that ID. So we probably have, as you can see here, we have players that I'm sure you're very familiar with, like Marine King in here. And then some you might not be as aware with.
Is Pig Baby going to get turned into Pig Baby veal taste?
That's what we're going to find out. That's what we're going to find out. I don't think, can you make veal out of pigs?
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's just like...
I would say, to bacon or something like that. But anyways, we're getting closer to starting this match here. I expect Parting to win. What about you?
Yes, Parting. Sue's very good. He's playing well recently, but Parting is a whole nother level, I would say. But, hold on. We have some more Challenger League stuff to take a look at.
Of course, in match one here we have Seed, GSL champion from last year, one of the only Protoss champions that we've had.
In fact, one of
and
only
Roro
two.
as well. Yes, one of only two, actually.
Yeah, Life is playing. Jockji, a former champion, is playing. In fact, every single match has a champion, a GSL champion in it. So that is nothing to scoff at, Tasis.
No. Well, we're at the point in time now where there are so many good StarCraft 2 players, especially in Korea, that it's just hard to keep up. I mean, Seed, Life, Roro, all down in this phase of the tournament, the Challenger League. What the hell?
And you see Jockji is there as well, which is nice to see his return.
I actually crushed over him as well.
Yeah, Jockji's someone who's really fallen off the map since his victory, but still very high on Terran.
I'm really curious to see if Roro is going to go down the same road as Jockji here, where Roro wins a GSL Codes and then sort of fades into obscurity, at least in regards to being a champion.
I don't think so. He's so solid and so good. He got really deep 2 seasons in a row, which is already kind of better than what Jockji did. So I expect him to actually get right back up and play in Codes next season.
I hope to see him there. That's going to be
this
really
does qualify,
exciting.
By the way, for Codes next season, guys. So
yes.
When we have back our beautiful little baby boy.
It's kind of weird casting this here. We're on the main stage here. Normally we're up there where you're probably used to seeing us cast. So this is actually very different for us, at least in Korea, to be casting here. And also in front of a live audience that we can actually see here. Normally we just hide up there and assume that we might be funny or interesting. We don't know. But
and I have one of those prison mirrors where I keep an eye on.
You use your combat knife to check behind you and stuff.
Yes.
So looks like we're still waiting for one of the players to join here. We do have Parting already in the game. And we're going to be showing you guys some stats in a little bit here. Not stats necessarily based off mathematically what we've seen them do in every game, but we pulled all the Korean esports journalists and asked them to make their own stats of where they think these players stand. And we've then put that all together and given us the average for where we think they stand, where they think they stand. So we'll see if we agree with that or not.
Yeah, that's always the most fun part.
We do not always. So
no, some of them are actually quite hilarious. It's like, what does this cheese number really mean on Shine?
Well, there was the one guy that moved up in the tournament to round of 16, and I think went down 8 points in popularity. And I'm like, well, how does that work?
We'll think that would be the way.
No, not so much.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting, man. This set of matches today, I'm really so looking forward to. Just the fact that we get to see, for instance, Parting play, we can see Rain play, two of my absolute favorites.
This actually might be the best day here for the round of 16. I mean, we have a lot of really good players.
Imagine what the round of 8 is going to look like with the players we have in the round of 16, because there's like one guy that we're like, you're the odd man out here, Byung, and then a couple others that we're like, I'm not sure if you're top 16, maybe top 20. You know, it's like a really solid, legit group.
So here are today's matches. We have 4 best of 3s. Note they're all in different groups. We have Sue versus Parting, Flash versus Innovation, Rain against Hiva, and we'll end the day with Maru against Trap.
Insanely good matches.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you're a Terran, a Zerg, or a Protoss fan, we have something big for you today.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Hiva, a very talented StarCraft 1 pro. He got through a group not many people thought he would. Is he going to be able to show something against Rain? Because Hiva's generally cheesy, and Rain is the most solid Protoss as far as defense goes. So that's going to be kind of interesting.
And of course, Trap against Maru. Trap, one of our newer Protosses on the scene.
Yeah.
But very capable, I think, of at least getting to the round of 8.
I think there's a good chance he will, to be honest. I think you're right. Very, very strong player. And I think he's going to be able to take out Maru. He's got sharp builds and good execution.
Yeah, and of course, Maru, if you followed the GSL here for a long time, you're definitely going to be familiar with Maru. Maru's a player who has been around for a long time.
Since like season 1.
And he was incredibly young when he started his pro gaming career. I believe I was casting Maru games when he was 11 and a half.
Could have been, man.
For StarCraft 1.
He has been around for quite some time, and he was such a young kid, too.
Oh, yeah. I believe, what is he,
still is
16 now?
I think something like that.
I think he is.
You know, someone dug up a picture, Tasteless, of him during the first GSL qualifier, and he was, like, literally up to my knees.
That is so cute.
Yeah.
So, on to the first match for today, Sue against Parting. Now, I see that it's their WCS Korea rankings is 11-9. I would still say there's a pretty large disparity in the skill gap here for Parting and Sue. Parting is just so good, and that's not to take anything away from Sue. Sue's easily one of the best Protosses in the world right now, but it's a tough match going up against Parting.
Yeah. Well, you know, I wonder if Sue can take this. The funny thing is they're on the same team.
Yeah.
So Sue obviously gets to play a lot of ZVP with Parting and Parting a lot of PvZ with Sue, so they know each other's styles, but who wins more in practice? It's not always who you think.
Yeah.
Still, though, I have to side with Parting. Like, this guy, he comes with the smartest plays, smartest builds you can even fathom.
And as you can see here, the stats we were talking about, you can see how they've changed from round of 32 to round of 16 from the Korean esports journalists here that report on all the matches that we do. And let me tell you something, if you're a Korean esports journalist, you see a lot of matches with every single player.
So true.
So it's gone up in everything, in fact.
Well, that's good, because it's silly to go down when you lose, unless you really made a bungle. And he didn't make a bungle. He played very well. He took out SOS and Maru, two very high-end players. So
yeah,
can't really take anything away from him there, I'd say.
And here is Parting now. That's weird that his strategy has dropped.
Well, he did lose that match to Supernova, so I guess maybe there was something there that they didn't like.
What's funny about that, though, is Supernova didn't, I don't feel like, beat him with being sneaky. You know what I mean? I feel like it said it was just Supernova's incredible ability to mechanically, play on a superior level to his opponent. I'm always wondering if Supernova, by the way, is actually going to become a champion.
He could.
He could.
He came really close a bunch of times.
Yeah.
He's been one of the most stable players in the world for a very long time, but it seems like he's back. He's playing the best StarCraft 2 we've ever seen from him as well. So,
oh yeah,
definitely a possibility, Tasteless.
Well, you know, they had that interview with him, and he admitted that
he definitely might become a champion.
He definitely might possibly become a champion, but they had the interview with him a little while ago, and he said that, you know, he never actually made it a goal to become a champion.
Yeah.
Instead, he was just trying to get as far as he could, and you know,
you'd be surprised how many pro gamers are like that too. People are always like, you must strive to be the best. No, some people strive to be amongst the best.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about how much pressure you're actually putting on yourself. In a tournament where out of 32 people, only one becomes
and it's normally like MC.
Exactly.
And nowadays it's probably just going to be innovation.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, sometimes it's easier to stomach just getting top 8, but he said he's changed that now. So maybe he's going to do better this time. We'll see.
Well, I think
certainly
he is
seems
already
to have the potential.
Even if he loses every game from here on out, he's already played a better tournament than I've seen from him in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
But enough about that Supernova guy. Let's get to Sue against Parting, Tasteless. And you were talking before about how Parting brings these really super refined builds that are very intelligent. I like spend a good portion of my StarCraft 2 practice time just watching and rewatching parting VODs because...
Well, I mean, if you're going to copy one Protoss player, you might as well...
Parting or Rain, for sure.
Yeah, I would say Parting or Rain. Or First, actually.
Yeah.
This
First
season.
is going to be a little bit harder for you, but...
Well, we'll see how far he actually gets.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with how he played just Tuesday, 2 days ago, when we casted his games, because it was really impressive. But I think out of all the Protosses that we have here, Parting has the most impressive builds to copy. I'd say Rain might be a little bit better if you're more of a novice and want to go up on the ladder online.
Parting,
now, again, these are two teammates, by the way, guys. That's why they're color coordinated right now in the booth.
That's right.
So that makes it a little bit trickier when you have to play a match against somebody you practice with and
seriously
talk about the game with for hours and hours and hours every day.
They even have similar haircuts. If Parting took his glasses off, they'd probably both be invisible.
All right, it looks like our map is loading OGN Anaconda. So get ready as we go here to the WCS Korea Season 2 round of 16 here in Group A with Tastosis here in Seoul, Korea. And yeah, this is definitely a piggyback broadcast. I have not yet been able to sync that with the outro. All right, over here in the bottom right, a very deadly Zerg. Can he overcome this match, though? He is.
Master, SK Telecom T1 Su.
Tasteless. There's little tiny crabs on this map. They're so cute.
In the upper left, we have our Protoss player, the world champion from last year. He is.
Master, SK Telecom T1 Parting.
Where are the crabs on this map?
Look at this little guy.
Oh, and it's called a crab beetle, too.
Yeah. Isn't that cute?
Pick a side. Which one are you, a crab or a beetle? So this is our first time casting on this map.
Yeah. We, of course, have not seen, or rather, we've seen, but we haven't played on this map. It has not been used before. This is its first time in a competitive match.
So we're going to be learning this map a little bit along with you guys, and we'll see. We'll try to speculate as best we can, but again, new maps require new strategies, and these guys are going to be the ones to show us that here today.
That's right. Well, it looks like we're going to have a gateway opener there, Tasteless.
Yeah. And as you can see here, there's a lot of locations on the map here. There's a little tunnel over here in the middle. This map is a little bit similar architecturally to Belshir, in the fact that it is a one-on-one map. And the longer the game goes on, the more you're going to be expanding towards your opponent, which can make things quite difficult.
Well, looks like we're having some problems with the game sound. Hopefully we'll get that.
I'm not getting any game sound in my headset, but that should be put on pretty soon here.
There we go.
Okay, it looks like we got that going on now.
All right, so I'm actually super interested to see how this map plays out, Tasteless, because these maps, will they become mainstream maps?
Well, that's the big question, right? I mean, like you and I have not actually been able to play on this map yet, so I don't have incredibly strong opinions about this map, but we'll see. I mean, I might after the end of today if I see a few games on this.
Yeah. Well, something very interesting is there's two expansions kind of behind the main base that have destructible rocks that you have to kill to get through, but they are only 1,000 hit point destructible rocks, but they do have armor 10, so you can't just kill them with Zerglings in 2 seconds,
Right.
So that's a very interesting part of the map, because it feels to me like, well, they're kind of far away, but it's linear, so I wonder how well Terran is going to end up doing late game on this map when there's going to be like 4 bases that I don't think will be too hard to hold.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Also, speaking of which, Protoss, well, let's just say Parting here, going to go for one of these newer builds we see here where he pushes out the mothership core to protect that. But we have some Zerglings coming in here now, hitting the probes.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he'll actually end up getting any, nor should he. Parting, of course, with a very solid build here. And he probably already knows that there's a Nexus behind.
Oh,
and
yeah.
In fact, look at this. Su actually expanding up the side of the map as opposed to anything behind him.
Well, if he can secure that third base that he's taking in the middle right part of the mini-map here.
Fourth base at least is free.
Yeah, exactly. The fourth
Fifth base might be harder, but...
But, you know, I mean, if he's got a fourth base up, he probably has the capital to try to defend with a fifth. It's the fourth base that's probably the trickiest for Zerg to get up.
Now, Tasteless, we have a Robo on the way, and this is very rare to see just a Robo popping up right away. Normally you have a Stargate before it, or even a Twilight before it is more common than just a Robo. But I am wondering, because we've seen a little bit. For instance, Jongbi was using some pretty quick Robo builds.
Right.
Using Immortals and then a Warp Prism. For specifically Parting, though, I'm trying to figure out, is he planning on just going Immortals from this? Because it is so quick.
Well, I mean, if he were to go for Immortals, this would be very similar to the strat that he used to win last year in the World Championships.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe we'll see a revisitation of that style of play. You know, it's hard to say because this is one of the newer ways for Protoss to play, and it seems like there's still a lot of avenues to where they take the game.
Certainly.
Once you get the expansion up and running, it seems like there's actually a lot of things Protoss can do.
Yeah. You know, we just saw a moment ago the Mothership Core just hanging out over the destructible rocks, and that's going to prevent him from really killing them. And if he, you know, all-ins killing those rocks, sends a ton of lings and or roaches, then, you know, Parting's going to know about it ahead of time. So nice placement there on the Mothership Core.
We did see an Immortal being made there. And he is making more sentries, so we may very well see the Immortal Sentry push, a variation of it.
It looks like
from what he won, he conquered the world with last year.
Yeah, and he literally did conquer the world with specifically that build. Won so many matches, known as the Soul Train to a lot of the Foreigner fans. Just he was the only one that was able to do it at that level, too.
Well, you'd watch other people do it. I mean, as you guys can see with the clock here at the bottom left side of the screen, for how long the game's been going on. When people try to copy the opener that Parting would do, they'd be behind by sometimes 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah,
other pro gamers. So, you know, he's very good at making this just airtight, not missing a single beat here.
Well, I think I see what he's doing, Tasteless. This is a very modified version of it because he doesn't have a forge at all, and he's adding his gateways at this moment. I think this is just going to be a really, really fast Immortal push. And
well, you know, he's making a Warp Prism now. He had, what, 2 Immortals out,
Two
right?
Immortals, yeah.
2 Immortals out. Now, this actually might kill the Zerg because the Zerg has 2 points of interest that he has to defend, the third base and the second. And, you know, the problem with for Zerg is if they get static defense, even though spine crawlers can move, they can't move and attack. So if he gets static defense like spine crawlers, then there's 2 places he has to defend.
That is very right, Tasteless. Well, the Warp Prism is out. He's moving across the map, but there are a lot of units being produced for Sue right now. He's about to have Zergling speed, and he already has 25 of those out. So Parting does have to be careful. He can't be caught in the middle, or he'll have to waste too many force fields.
All right, he's moving out now. And as you said, Artos, I'm going to echo that. He actually needs to be very careful with his force fields. He does not have a ton of sentries here if he wastes any of these. All right, first ones are up.
Ooh,
and that was an example of kind of a bungled force field there.
A little bit, yeah. Slight miss there, but it looks like he's going to get that upgrade, which is pretty nice. The thing is, he's got to do more than just kill an upgrade with this push, Tasteless. He's put a lot of money into it.
Well, this is actually working out so far. He's able to zone out all these units. He's actually warping in a second round. The Warp Prism's not being used, which is a bit alarming, but it looks like he's again zoned out most of these important units right now. The Roach is still in the back now. Drones coming down. But it looks like the Zealots here are going to be very helpful in this position.
Yeah, they certainly are, but everything else getting surrounded, and it looks like maybe killed as well. The Warp Prism is coming. It's a bit late. One Immortal goes down. Looks like the second one will fall too, and all the sentries as well. Parting with just Stalkers left. This is a terrible spot to be in.
Yeah, this is really bad. And now he's going to be driven all the way back to his base. You know, I got to go back and point out that Warp Prism that was not really being used in that battle. He had stuff being warped in from the back, which is really not the point.
Yeah.
The point of the Warp Prism is that you can warp it right in the middle of the battle. You can even warp in Zealots to block off the Stalkers so they can't get hit with lings, you know?
You know, it was kind of an interesting push because there wasn't much targeted targeting.
I don't even know if he actually has enough to stop all these roaches, man. This is going to be a pretty tricky one, and with that force field not connecting.
Well, actually, you're completely right. He doesn't have a single
get the pylon and actually unpower the gateways.
Oh, God. How painful would that be? He needs a Tasteless pile in there. He put a force field over to the right. What was that?
GG. Well, I don't know what that force field
I think that was like basically dropping a mule when you've lost, just putting a force field somewhere dumb. Well, Sue takes that game 1.
Convincingly so.
I was kind of interested in the build Parting did, but it didn't have Parting's normal...
It did not even have his normal execution.
Yeah, he's normally the best in the world with a push like that. But that seemed far below what he normally does.
Yeah.
It started out kind of okay, but he missed a force field, and I mean, he didn't kill even a hatchery.
You know, Party not looking very happy right now. That was a pretty cut and dry loss.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't use the War Prism at all, as you said.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
It was one of these games that looked like where he couldn't actually find the War Prism either. It was not intentional for him to hide that over the trees. But, I mean, honestly, like, it seemed like he didn't even know where the hell it was once the battle started up.
Yeah.
It might not seem like as much of a big deal, but to have your backup, or I guess your reinforcements warp in at the pylon, which is like 3-4 second walk away from your army, and he's getting zealots at this moment. So
and not
when
just
he gets
that.
the zealots, they're not even, when they get to the rest of Parting's army, they can't even actually go over there and get in front because everything's all jammed up. It's a big traffic jam up there.
Well, let's not forget as well, he normally picks up his Immortals and doesn't let them die, ever. Like, he is the one Protoss that doesn't let Immortals die.
Very true.
That just, it was weird. It was not his best play, and you could see him kind of shaking his head.
You know, even the force fields at the start were not that good.
Well, with Parting, you imagine that it'll always be minimum amount of force fields for maximum units caught.
Well, I mean, the first 4 that he threw up, all those Zerglings got behind the force field again.
They overlapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, bad start there. We're going into game number 2 here between these two at Newkirk Precinct.
All right, we'll see what Parting has planned here. I am kind of sad, though, I have to say. I am a little bit sad because Parting normally, like, when I saw that he was opening Robo, I'm like, a new build for me. But that was like, I mean, if Parting can mess up controlling an Immortal push that bad,
I don't know if we should be using that build if he can mess that up.
Yeah,
so that was interesting, though. Looks like both players are now in the game. Again, get your friends to tune in here at GOMTV.net. These games are going to be, I think, probably the best in the round of 16.
Probably.
I think. All right. It looks like both players are giving us confirmation that we are, or that they are ready, which means we are going to be ready to get this game going here. Now, if Sue wins this, that means Parting has lost a best of 3 in his group. If Parting wins this next game, we will go to the rubber match and try to close out this best of 3 here. But again, Parting already off to a bad start today. If you had covered up the player names and had me guess who that was, the last person I would have picked would have been Parting.
Yes, by far the last.
So
I'm not sure I would have picked. I would have picked like Jongbi or something.
Somebody who was good at StarCraft 1 but who hasn't quite mapped this all out in StarCraft 2.
Somebody who actually will make it a Robo early.
All right, well, Sue's got to be feeling very confident about this. One thing to keep in mind about teammates here is that when you see them playing against each other, if they do practice against each other constantly and then you have to have a match against each other, well, this is kind of a weird situation because how do you beat somebody who you play with every day?
Yeah,
who knows all of your strategies, all your secrets, all your weaknesses?
To be honest, that could have been, on that particular game, it could have been a build that, or Parting could have made it basically look like a build that he always uses. You know what I mean? Like something that maybe we haven't even seen out of him that in practice he uses a lot. He may have made that look just like that and be like, oh, but I'll go for Immortals, and he won't know what hit him.
And then the problem is that build that he probably hasn't been able to practice very much. Most of the builds he probably does practice, he practices against Sue, at least in that matchup. He maybe thought that might have worked out a little bit better than it actually did, because when I look at that build, I'm thinking to myself, there's no way that even wins against a Zerg that just has enough stuff, you know?
No, definitely not. No upgrades and a very limited number of gateways and force fields.
Only 2 Immortals, too?
Yeah, that's like a very... I feel like you have to hit that at exactly the right second with the Zerg having made a round of drones or something.
Party was just shaking his head again a little bit ago.
Well, he knows that looked bad. Like, that is not what we are used to out of him at all, by any means.
Party actually much more visibly frustrated than normal here. Or at least what I'm used to casting here.
Yeah.
But it does look like our map has loaded up. So get ready as we're going to go on and see which of the two teammates, Parting and Sue,